Hey guys, we're about to hand you off to an interview of the MUD program. If you remember that from last week, super, super cool. This is one of the coolest things you've ever seen. Trust me, it's coming up. Before we get started, just remind all the loan officers out there, backed by popular demand, is the Listing Booster $197 a month individual loan officer account. If you want to get one, probably the best thing that Listing Booster will do for you is get you connected to a lot of real estate agents and develop new relationships with them. It's super cool. You're going to want to get a demo. So just click the Listing Booster logo you see right here on the screen. See the Listing Booster logo? It's just right down below the video. Just look down below the video. You'll see it. Click it. Fill out some information. We'll get a hold of you and get a demo started so you can start building up those realtor relationships again. All right. So with that, let's move on to the MUD interview. Here you go. All right, guys. Welcome to the National Real Estate Post. Frank Gray here, and I have some special guests with me. I have TJ Powell. Raise your hand, TJ. So that's TJ, and he's the Executive Vice President of the American Armed Forces Mutual Aid Association, or the AFMA, as we would call it, right? Is that how you say that?
Correct. AFMA Mortgage Services.
AFMA Mortgage Services, and we'll get into that. I also have with me the CEO of Proposed Properties, Jim, and I'm not going to take a stab at your last name. How do you say your last name? Pesavento. There you go, Jim Pesavento. Now, you guys remember last week we did a show on the MUD program, and the MUD stands for Military Urban Development, and it's an initiative that we had talked about that is a collaboration between a few entities. The other entity that we don't have on the show right now is something called Neighbors, NAIBRS, which is, TJ, give me the meaning of that acronym again, NAIBRS.
National Association of Independent Builders and Real Estate Services.
Okay, so they're not here with us today, but we do have AFMA and we have Proposed Properties, and all three of these entities coming together formed this MUD initiative, which is the Military Urban Development Initiative. And the focus of this, guys, if you remember from the last show, and I'm just teeing this up for us here, do we have a quick conversation about how to get involved with this? But the focus of this is, we have this lack of inventory out there. Everybody's aware of that. We also know that the first-time home buyer, entry-level buyers are all but squeezed out of this market right now. It's just like virtually impossible to get a first-time home buyer deal accepted, really, really tough. And we also have, of course, the ongoing issues with, our veterans, needing to get some affordable housing, that kind of a thing. And so the MUD initiative is where, as a veteran, you don't have to be a veteran, right, guys? You can be a civilian, but they do have a focus on military. But it's where you can take a vet and say, hey, instead of trying to battle it out on, all these offers on homes you might not even be able to afford, why not let's just build you a house, right? Let's just find a lot and get the plans and get the financing in place and just build your house. You know what I mean? And it's a way of bringing inventory onto the market. It's a way of building something that's going to be affordable, right? And getting somebody into a home. Did I sum that up fairly well, you guys?
Correct. That's the purpose of the initiative.
Okay, so now let's start getting into the nuts and bolts, because I know our viewers are going to be like, what are the details? How do we get involved? How do our clients, maybe look at this, that type of thing? Let's start with TJ. TJ, what is your role at AFMA in the MUD initiative? What's your role there?
So our role is actually being the financing component for the military. Even though this is for civilians as well, we're focused on the military aspect of it. We're a mortgage lender that only does lending for service members, retirees, veterans, and it's a way for us to bring in affordable housing for people that are either retiring or changing duty stations, to be honest.
So in your part of the program, let's say a veteran comes in and says, I'm raising my hand, I want to do this, we'll get into if he finds the lot or if you help him find the lot or whatever. Let's say he's got his lot or whatever. You're going to help him with the construction financing and then the construction to perm, basically?
Correct. So we've already established especially a VA one-time close, so that they can go directly from the standpoint of construction to permanent financing at one shot. We also have a proprietary product If they don't qualify, obviously if they've utilized all their entitlement or anything like this, then we do have a two-step construction product that we can utilize.
Okay. And, normally with a veteran, I want to go buy a house. I don't have to put any down payment down or anything like that, depending on the loan amount, and the sales price. Does that still apply in this scenario?
No, it does. For any of the VA one-time close products, it's still VA guarantee. And with the Blue Water Initiative, obviously that changed a lot of the difference on what down payment or anything else you may have to have. I mean, the housing price that we're looking at pushing forward is about $250,000 to $400,000.
Okay.
As an overall. So any veteran would qualify for 100% financing. Obviously, you may have a funding fee, you may not, depending if you're a true veteran or not, right?
Right.
But all the same VA rules and guidelines still apply. And
so when you say we're looking, around 250 to 400, that's to build the house and get them in. Would that mean, like, let's say, okay, for us to get you into this property, it's going to cost $250,000. But when that property's done, it might be worth more than that, right? Or you see what I'm saying? I mean, like with any new construction, you're going to spend X amount of dollars to build it. But when it's done, you could sell it for, is that kind of how it's looking? Or
sure, because you could always have builder's equity as you go on, right? A lot of the other partners that we're trying to bring in are actually to give military discounts and rebates as they build. For instance, Build Zoom that we'll bring in as well, which is basically has over 200,000 contractors and builders that are already vetted straight across the board, have already basically ponied up, is a better word, I guess, that for $5,000 as a rebate to each one of the veterans or military service members that come in and want to build a home.
Okay, interesting. Let's shift over to Jim. So, Jim, they're going to build a house. You need some plans, right? You need to know, like, what can I build? And is that where you step in and help?
Correct. We actually have a couple other components we bring to the process. The first one is we bring in the real estate community, because they know where the land is, right? So in order for this initiative to go, we need to have land. So our real estate partners actually bring land, and often cases it's subdivided, sometimes it's raw in all kinds of different states. But as long as it's an individual lot that a new home can be put on and sold, it can go into the program. And through our technology, which is our lot to home technology, it's essentially virtual land staging, where our real estate partners can identify what would be the ideal home on this site. And then they can go ahead and they can search for that type of home based on size, price, style, bedroom, bath counts, things of that nature. Then we go ahead and we pair that home with their land so they can market the package on the marketplace in the MLS. And that's more attractive.
Shut up.
Land.
Shut up. Okay, so see, I'm glad we're having this conversation. It's starting to make sense to me now. So let's say I'm a real estate agent in my particular area that I'm at. I know of multiple, just lots that are out there. That it happens all the time, right? There's undeveloped lots. You can buy the lot and you can build on it, right? I know of these lots that are out there, or maybe I've listed a lot. Does that really work? And then I get in touch with you and I go, hey, I got this lot. It might be perfect for the program. And then they connect with you in that regard. Is that how that works?
Correct. We have a platform where they can go ahead and engage directly through our website. And they can select the features and the attributes they want the home to have. They can go ahead and submit pricing requests so we can price out those homes for them. So now they have everything that they need to put it on the MLS. They'll have room sizes, pictures, exterior shots. And in most cases, now they're putting two offerings on the MLS instead of one. They're putting land as well as this package. And we're finding a lot more traction on the package. Because as you know, today's consumers, I can grab my phone, I can push a button, and I can have Amazon deliver a box on my porch tomorrow morning. That type of consumer probably is going to want more of this solution, more of this package solution. So they're able to market the package. And then obviously, if any consumers engage on that front, We work with them to dial in the exact plans, the exact attributes, and then of course match them to the right builders through our builder network. And that's where BuildZoom comes in. They have that nationwide network of 175,000 vetted contractors.
Gotcha.
So with their network and over 20,000 plans, we could build almost anything, anywhere.
Wow. Okay, so now for the both of you, the entity that's not here is Neighbors, right? And so, what is their role in this? How do that? What part do they play? TJ, why don't you field that one?
Sure. So the biggest thing that Neighbors does, because it's a not-for-profit as well, but it does bring in independent builders as well, and also an education piece for a lot of these realtors, specifically on the MUD project. From the financing side is a piece of the education to the actual, what they're actually selling. So we want to ensure that it's conveyed properly all the way across through all parties, right? I mean, no surprises, right? There's not one customer out there that likes a surprise, so this brings a lot of that together.
I understand. So Neighbors is really the entry point for someone who wants to get started, right? So I'm a real estate agent. I got the lot. So I would connect with Neighbors, right? Or if I am a consumer or even a mortgage professional that wants to learn more and see how they might be able to get involved. Before we recorded, guys, they were saying that there's pretty much room for everybody to kind of play in this some way, shape, or form. But Neighbors would be the connecting point to get involved in this. Is that right?
The real estate, I would say that is correct, because one of the things that Neighbors does, and I'm on the board with Neighbors, so I'm familiar with that organization as well, is that they have an education piece, and the big education piece is in new construction. So as we as an organization at Neighbors looked around, we saw that there was not a lot of new construction education in the marketplace.
True.
We see these studies that Zillow puts out saying 64% of home buyers are interested in new construction. Yet we have a real estate population that's not educated in how new construction
Completely
works.
True. Yeah.
So how that's possible and we have that big of a disconnect, I don't know. So Neighbors actually created a new construction specialist class. And the whole purpose of the class is to educate the real estate community on how to work with buyers and all the right questions to ask and how to think about the soft costs, so those don't catch you off guard when you're building your budgets. So a great starting place is for real estate professionals to go to Neighbors, take that new construction specialist class, so they have that education, they know how to work with buyers and builders, and then it's much easier for them to segue into playing a role into this type of an initiative.
So for them to go get that class and to plug into Neighbors, do we send them to a website, or you just want to give them an email that they use, or what? I'll put it down below. Whatever the engagement piece is, I'll put it right below the video. What is it?
The easiest thing would be to just go to neighbors.org, and there are on-demand classes for a new construction specialist. Those are classes you can take whenever you wish. Just start and stop, and after you complete, they'll send you a certificate. Once you receive your certificate and you've completed the class, that designation is good for 2 years. So you'll be a dedicated new construction specialist for 2 years. You also receive a 1-year membership in Neighbors itself, the non-for-profit trade association. And then, of course, you'll get some outreach from proposed properties as well, because once you've had that training, we're going to want to show you how to get into the back end of the system and start utilizing those tools so you can take any vacant lot or tear down and turn it into a new construction offering. We talk about the housing shortage in this country of 3 million homes, or whatever that number is. Ironically, we have about 3 million vacant lots and tear downs. So we kind of have the solution to our own problem. We just haven't found a way to convert one into the other, and that's what this does.
This is really cool. So, and guys, just now, Neighbors, I just want to give you the clarity on that. And again, I'm putting a link to it right down below and an email address. We're going to give you info@neighbors.org, but Neighbors is not spelled like your next door neighbor. It's spelled NAIBRS. It's an acronym. It's an abbreviation. So it's NAIBRS. We'll put it up on the screen. I'll put it down below. There'll be a link to the website, and there'll be the email contact right down below for all you guys, for all your real estate agents watching. Clearly, this is a good thing to get involved with. I think we've pretty much covered all the bases. It's fascinating, and it's kudos to you guys for putting it all together. I think it's really neat. I think it's really, really well done and very, very cool. So, yeah, unless you guys got anything else to add. TJ, you got anything else to add before we sign off here?
No, my biggest thing that I'd like to add is that AFA Mortgage Services is really here to help this along. I mean, affordable housing is not out there for our military yet.
No.
And that's a scary thing, because they are true heroes out there.
Yeah, right on, man. How about you, Jim? Any parting words?
Well, just that I think we really can put a big dent in the housing inventory with something like this, because I think the speculative nature of construction really is what drives up a lot of costs. But when all of these homes are pre-sold and all those dollar amounts are determined in advance, now we can run lean and mean and build more cost-effective homes.
Interesting.
To meet those homes. So
Interesting.
It's just a different way of approaching the problem. And as we expand, we'd love to come back and give you a little update on how things are going. We intend to be in multiple states here before the end of the year.
That sounds fantastic. We'd love to have you guys back on. Okay, guys, I'm going to put all the contact information down below for you so you can get engaged with neighbors, with TJ, and obviously with Jim. What a great program. Very, very cool. Appreciate you guys being on the show.
Thank you, Frank. Appreciate it.
All right, guys, that's it for today. Thanks so much for tuning in. Do us a favor, leave us your comments down below. Please forward and share this show, especially if you're a mortgage guy with your real estate partners. They could get a lot out of this, which will only help you in return. Again, leave your comments down below. Subscribe if you're meeting us for the first time in your upper right-hand corner, and we'll catch you guys later here at the National Real Estate Post.